this is Ross Payton with Roleplaying Public Radio. This is RPPR, episode 49, Morality Roleplay. And of course, with me, as always, is Tom.
Sorry,
Yes.
I was lost in watching your mouth over-enunciate when you do the announcer voice.
Yes, Tom.
I was entranced by it.
Let's
You're
keep drawing attention to it.
You're a beautiful person.
Okay. Thanks,
Yes.
Tom.
You bet.
Anyways, not much news going on here at RPPR. We're working a lot of things.
Well, we are in the Midwest, the land of dirt, so nothing happens.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, nothing happens in the Midwest. My book Road Trip is still out, still available. If you
Buy Ross's book.
Buy my book. It's a great book and it's very entertaining. It's got 2 5-star reviews, and you should buy it.
And I'm a crazy scientist in Area 51.
Exactly. It's a campaign for Monsters.
And Cody's a general in the army.
Yep.
And it makes you weep.
So if you're Springfield, there's going to be actually the Springfield Game Expo is October 15th to 17th, and I'm going to try and run some games there. It's going to be at the Springfield Expo Center. I just remembered this now. I should have mentioned this to you.
Yeah,
earlier,
you should have.
But I'm going to be doing
monster.
some panels on podcasting and stuff, and it's springfieldgame.com, and so yeah, I'll be running Road Trip, and I'll be doing podcast panels, and you can talk to me and poke Tom with a stick if he shows up.
I might. That sounds like a good cause.
Yeah, poke Tom with a stick.
It's like the Touch Bellini contest
Exactly.
from Kids in the Hall.
Exactly.
Should I wear a towel and nothing else?
No.
For the love of God.
Wear like Gore-Tex and like wear a hazmat suit, Tom.
Well, how would they know it's me?
Well, there'll be a little face thing for them to see your face.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, we'll put a name tag on you too.
Oh, well, that makes everything better.
All right. Let's see. Also, Cody still has a new blog up, Popgun Chaos, and he updates it pretty frequently. He even did a podcast of his own for one episode.
It's not RPPR.
No, because he was using my equipment. I did help him with it, and I did show him how to do it. And
you're not cheating on me with another podcast, are you, Ross?
No, I wasn't in his podcast. I didn't care that much. I mean, he was the one
good.
talking in it.
Because if you ever left me, I'd just go crazy.
Okay.
I would go insane.
Well, I was going to announce that I'm going to California to be a big-time podcaster.
Well, then I'd like to announce that at the end of this episode, I'm going to be killing Ross with an axe.
But who's going to upload it?
That's a good question.
Because that would require you to know how to do that, Tom. And the joke is you don't.
It's not really a joke, though.
No, the joke is you.
It's true.
It's
the humor is in the truthfulness of it.
The truthiness. Yeah,
I like truthiness.
Yeah. So, anyways, Popgun Chaos. Check that out. There's a lot of pop culture chaos and stuff.
And a gun.
No, it's kind of a metaphorical gun. I don't know what the name means either. I didn't ask him.
It's Cody. What can you expect?
Exactly. Hi, Cody.
He probably went crazy when he saw Dan eat the 2 double downs at once. I lost my mind at that point.
God damn it, Tom. I blotted that out of my
Now
mind.
it's back.
My
like gift to you.
Cancer chicken. I mean, it's like cancer chicken tumors. That's what it looked like, eating a chicken tumor.
My gift to you.
Like I get just some Lovecraftian chicken that they hack pieces off.
Dude, there should be like a Lovecraft story based on the Double Down.
I actually have an idea for a Call of Cthulhu scenario set in a meat packing plant.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I have read Upton Sinclair's The Jungle, Ross.
Well, like with modern butchery tools, like have you heard of lung guns and bolt guns and skull removers?
Yes.
And crap like that. Be pretty fucking awesome. Pretty gory.
Yeah, it takes a certain kind of person to work in a meat packing plant.
Yeah, desperate.
Mm-hmm.
And on meth.
Meth helps.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's probably in the application. Like, are you on meth? No. Well, we're gonna need you to start.
Yeah. Pretty much. So anyway, so moving on from the news to the main topic,
over very quickly.
Yeah. Main topic we're going to be talking about is role playing, alignments, and morality. In the sense that how do you deal with issues that arise from trying to role play characters that are undergoing difficult moral issues, and this, and obviously
some of you players out there may not have this problem since you have an entire crew of just psychotic, monkeys,
right? Or balanced human beings who understand basic.
Ross, let's leave the fiction out of this, please. Come on.
We're horrible people.
But we know what goes on.
Yeah. Anyways, the basic conflict is, the basic trope or the basic standard, I think, in role-playing games is the idea that, someone who's role-playing a good character and then does something evil and tries to justify it, rationalize it somehow. And but there's actually a lot of issues. I mean, it's come up in a lot of for those of you who listen to our actual plays at
You should. If you don't,
publicradio.com.
Well, if you don't, you should.
Well, yeah. There have been a lot of controversies or issues that have come up, been mentioned in comments of pointing out certain players who don't live up to what is moral or have issues that arise from alignment and morality issues in role playing. We're not going to. Yeah, I know everyone's got someone in mind, but we're not going to start with that.
Well, I think that's good because if everyone does have a story in mind where that's happened.
Well, I mean, among the RPPR
so people, I think most gamers in general.
I think I was talking about RPPR AP fans who are probably thinking of one person in particular.
I'm talking about even people that aren't listening.
Oh, I see.
The people that will hear this through the ether by osmosis.
They ether through osmosis?
Yes.
How does that work?
I don't know, Ross.
Is it a fucking miracle?
It may very well be a fucking miracle.
Like rainbows and giraffes? And fucking magnets?
Fucking magnets.
It's kind of an old meme by now.
I know, but
I mean, it's only been
of
like
course,
6 months.
Well, of course, it's old in this the year of our Lord 2813.
Yeah, it's because RPPR we're so late. God damn it, you people!
And we're nothing.
It was 10 hours of blah 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 content every day.
And we're nothing more than brains in jars.
Not a machine. I can't just turn it on.
Well, you are a machine now, Ross. Ever since the conversion in 2512.
Anyways, so I'd like to share with one of my issues of role-playing aligned moralities.
Go on.
Yeah. In the New World Gaiden, the Sideverse, it was a D&D game set in the New World before
Cody
the
ran
main
that one, right?
Yeah, Cody ran it. We were both playing it, Tom and I played a priest, a cleric of Palor, and a faithful priest of Palor.
This was, we were members of
missionary.
Cortez's original expedition, right?
Right. And RJ was in it as too, and he plays a fire wizard. And at one point, RJ kills a whole bunch of natives for no good reason that I remember.
So he's playing a good conquistador type.
Right, but we capture the rest of them, those that weren't killed out by the fire magic. And I tell them, you need to tell me where your children are so I can go save them. Because if you're all here with us, and they'll starve to death because they're kids left alone in the wilderness, and they were very angry. And I said, come on, we need to help them, and of course the implication is I'm going to convert them from whatever pagan thing of their own thing to Palor.
You eventually would.
Yeah. Well, no, I was pretty blatant about it. It's like, you guys are sinners and you're going to be evil. We need to convert you to Palor right away. So I was pretty upfront about it. But I was playing what my character would. I thought I was role playing a good character in the sense, obviously a very. Everyone was like, "Oh my God, Ross is so evil."
No. RJ was evil.
Yeah, but Cody and RJ, they both, and I think Dan, they were like, "Oh my God, you're like the evilest priest ever." The evilest PC.
The way I saw it, there was death all around you. You had, that was unavoidable.
Right.
But you were offering all of them a way out where they could live.
Right.
And you weren't threatening to kill them. You were just telling them, look, this is what's going to happen.
I don't remember if I can't categorically say I wouldn't have threatened them, but I
don't remember you threatening their lives.
Yeah.
Just more threatening with.
Listen to the AP to find out.
Yeah, to me, as I remember, I think it was more just threatening through the truth.
Yeah.
That the reality of your situation is.
Yeah, we'll rescue your kids and we'll raise you. We're not going to release you, but anyways, I was playing a hard ass and I was playing a missionary, so so my character, that would be my character's interpretation of what was good, and everyone else thought it was evil. So that's sort of like a issue that came up. It's like, I was doing the good thing, at least to the understanding of my character. I mean, obviously, being an enlightened 21st century person, I realized, oh my God, cultural imperialism and.
But yeah, if you were a priest in Cortez's, the actual Cortez's landing in Mexico. Yeah. Yeah, you were doing the Lord's work.
Right. that's my first little anecdotes talking about that. So Tom, you had a couple of why don't you go and mention like obviously Aaron is sort of one of the inspirations for this episode because he's a regular in our group and he has a very specific ideas about morality and
well, there's one in a game that we don't record. Yeah, so I'll mention that one first. And there's one that Ross and I are both going to talk about in a minute. But the one where I'm running a Pathfinder game that's gone one session so far. Yeah, I think it has potential maybe. Mm-hmm. But David, who's playing, he's playing a someone who's going to become a true necromancer and eventually a lich. And Aaron is playing a Warforged, which is one of the few ways you could get him to play D&D. So and David's character was going down into these tunnels to where a ghoul, there's a ghoul artisan living below this city, who crafts things out of bones of bodies he's taken from a graveyard, and has built this huge cathedral out of bones, kind of like, there's an actual real world example of this.
It's an ossuary in Eastern Europe. I can't remember the name. They shot some of the D&D movie in it. Mm-hmm. Very famous.
Aaron's,
you type in Bone Cathedral, I'm sure you can find it on Google.
Yeah, and Aaron sees this cathedral and just goes bug fuck, saying that this is an abomination, this is evil, and the ghouls like calmly explaining to him, look, I haven't killed anyone. I just took these bodies over centuries and built this place. There's Aaron just no, this bones. Look at this. This is this is an abomination. And the ghouls actually, this is a D&D undead ghoul.
Right.
Yeah, it's trying, look, they're trying to reason with him. And even David's doing the same thing, and Aaron just, pretty much has to be led away ranting.
Right.
Because, this was still level 1.
What was his character?
Warforged fighter.
Okay. And was he playing a zealot or a fanatic?
Well, he was lawful good, which I don't think he quite gets the crusader part of lawful good.
Well, I mean, I could see his point in one sense. If you had certain religious beliefs and you believe that, like, desecrating a person, I mean, certainly those dead people didn't give permission to the ghoul to, like, hey, go ahead and use my bones when I die. So, I mean, you could say, there is that sort of, like, using someone's body without permission. That's kind of not, like, great. I mean, but it's certainly not, like, so I could see it at certain angles being like...
His character had no religion.
Right. Yeah, if his character was not a religious character and didn't have any personal beliefs about that and didn't have, like, In
fact, I asked him, like, what deity do you worship? None. I'm a Warforged.
Okay. Well, then he doesn't really have any, if he doesn't believe in, like, that, he wouldn't have any sort of deeply held beliefs that would indicate, that would give him that kind of thing. So
no, it's just he thinks it's evil.
So,
which kind of, once again, falls on that perception.
Right. Well, there's sort of like three major issues that I think sort of come up. There is their perception, and actually for there is in the New World game, in the Paragon tier, around session 14 or something like that, 14, 15, like in the sewers. You're talking to vampires. The group is talking to vampires, and
because of our need to talk to all the monsters,
right? And the vampires are you find them in their lair, and the vampires have blood dolls, humans that have been captured and are just used as,
spigots.
Yeah, spigots basically, and they're not dead. They're not going to die instantly, but they are. It's a pretty fucking horrible thing. I mean, it's not good.
Yeah, this isn't Vampire the Masquerade where the blood sucking is actually.
Yeah,
pleasing.
No. This is D&D vampires, so they're pretty much dicks. So, anyways, you guys make a deal with the vampires, and you go off, and you're a lawful good character. You're there, you see that, and you don't do or comment or say anything about it. Well, you don't even try to negotiate for their release.
I wasn't even really following that there were blood dolls there.
Right. So that sort of person, it missed your mind. You just didn't notice it.
I think we'd also we hadn't been through a combat.
Right.
So
it was
was it? I can't remember, but
yeah, no, I think you're right. Yeah, there was a fight.
So yeah, but after that's over, I'm like, oh, good, we're back to the game now. Okay.
Yeah. So there is sort of an issue there. And some people also pointed out Vashik really didn't do anything super lawful good during the campaign, except later on towards Epic tier. There are a couple things, but like he wasn't like a super exceptionally lawful good. Or what didn't go out on a limb. for his beliefs. I think is what some listeners have pointed out. So, just by talking about these issues, they're sort of. It seems to me that there are three main points of contention, and like any given situation can have multiple points of contention. One is the perception thing, like what you perceive in the game, what you as a player perceive versus what other people perceive. And then of course there is the metagame reasons. For example, if you don't want to do something because you don't want to piss off another player,
which is kind of what there's a lot of that it seems often in the New World game with Vash, like the whole group has made the decision, like, yeah, this is a good idea,
right?
And out of character, I agreed with them, but in character, I'm like, okay, I know there's no way Vashik would go for this, but every single player seems to have already made their decision that this is good. And if I play in character and go against this, it's just going to really screw everything up.
Right. So yeah, there's that, and then of course there's sort of the philosophical disagreements, which is sort of like, I think in Aaron's case, he confuses his personal morality with that of his character. For example, my priest, my cleric, I personally would not, forcibly convert people to, and
you're just a horrible monster.
Yeah, I'm not like a missionary. I'm not a crusader, and I wouldn't do.
You're just a beast.
I wouldn't think, like, tell me where your children are so I can convert them to my beliefs. Ha ha ha. But my character obviously did, and I can do that. I can hold that sort of dissonance between what my character believes and what I believe. But I think a lot of people, what they personally believe is what their character believes, regardless of the situation.
And I think, that bleeds in regardless, I think, to a certain extent.
To a certain extent, yeah, obviously. And certainly, like Aaron's case with the Bone Cathedral, I think he personally found that repulsive, or,
Well, I don't know. The thing is, I think if he actually went to that, the actual Bone Cathedral, I think he'd be admiring the artwork.
Right. Because those are actually done by Catholic monks during the Black Death, because they had an excess of bones.
Well, you work with the medium you have.
Yeah. So there's a lot of and of course another example is obviously Aaron's Dark Sun character.
We haven't got to. That's the one we haven't got to.
Yeah.
Yet.
I mean, there's sort of a sort of inflex, or I think more of a metagaming reason. I'm not sure. Is like in the first session, which is out, you can listen to it. Aaron's character, the group is in a caravan.
We're attacked by a Thrax.
Yeah, an undead monster, and it kills a person. The group decides to burn the body.
Well, I do.
You do. And Aaron is very adamant against it.
Like, runs it like, what do you think you're doing?
Yeah.
At which I'm burning this body.
Right. Because, and the thing is, Aaron had not asked me what the funerary beliefs of the Dark Sun people were, what they believed in. He didn't ask me if that was like a religious taboo or a societal taboo, a social mores against burning bodies. He just assumed it was and said that was evil, or that was wrong, or that was immoral to burn a body, and you decided it wasn't. And, but later on.
Well, actually, I think his thing, this is my opinion, I think he did that because I'm playing an evil character, therefore any act I make is evil. Mm-hmm. Or has some evil, dark, sinister purpose.
Okay, so he's metagaming too.
Yeah, I kind of think that, I know my character's point was, this thing could rise as an undead, not going to risk it, into the fire.
Right. But later on, he sees Jason and Cody torture a character.
Actually, we burned 2 bodies, and both times he...
Right. But Jason and Cody torture an NPC for information because they think he's the vampire.
Proper torture.
Yeah, and Aaron's hiding nearby, but he doesn't stop them. And
I think the reason he gave was he didn't want to upset, Jason and Cody.
Right. And so so these are the kind of situations that come up in games a lot. Like, what do you do when you have this kind of this dissonance between 2 players with their beliefs, 2 or more players with their beliefs, or with morality? Like, no, that was the right thing to do. That was the evil thing to do.
Like, according to who, though?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is obviously, in some systems, it's more common or more important than others. For example, Star Wars games, it's very important because of dark side points.
Well, that's only if you're a Force user.
Really? I thought all characters
No,
had
just Force because if you don't feel the Force...
Well, it depends on the system, too. Like, there's several Star
I've
Wars...
actually, from what I've most seen, unless you're a Force user, dark side points are meaningless.
Well, because, no, I think in some iterations, they can use them as luck points and stuff like that.
Not what I've heard. But there's different systems.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. There's different...
But the ones I've seen, it's unless you're a Force user, that's meaningless.
Well, there's obviously, and there's good and evil alignment based weapons, magic. Characters have certain codes of conduct that they get experience penalties.
But may I just briefly jump in and say that I think the alignment system in Palladium also really sucks.
Oh, really?
I do.
And why do you think that, Tom?
Well, the good alignments are principled, scrupulous, and basically unprincipled, which is one of their selfish alignments. But my problem is when they describe, principled is like the Superman, strong moral type. Mm-hmm. Scrupulous they describe as the one who I act outside, but always do the best thing. The examples they give were Charles Bronson from the Death Wish movies. Part of that alignment is never kill, always attempt to bring them in alive. For everyone saw that. No. This was before I'd even seen the Charles Bronson Death Wish movie Kill Count video, which you should watch.
Yeah. Well,
I'm talking to our listeners, Ross.
Oh yes, you can Google that. Google's the Death Wish Kill Count.
Then there's unprincipled and anarchist are their two selfish alignments, which there's practically no difference between them.
No, anarchist is a lot worse from what I remember.
But not in the actual description.
Anarchists believe torture is okay. Like that's a pretty big thing, Tom.
Yeah, and then their evil ones are miscreant,
diabolical,
aberrant, and diabolic, and miscreant and diabolic are pretty much identical.
No, miscreant is selfish. Diabolical is like Hannibal fucking Lecter. Not even Hannibal Lecter. Like Hannibal Lecter is more aberrant.
Not in the description.
Yeah, Tom. Do you want me to get a Palladium book out? They had beliefs. They had lists of things that was okay. They had commandments and shit. Miscreant was selfish and self-centered. Diabolical was total fucking evil, and aberrant was honorable evil. And so miscreant and diabolical were sadists and like killers. Miscreants were like me, just greedy little bastards.
Yeah, they're still crap.
Well, they are crap. They're very specific codes of morality meant to encompass all of belief systems throughout the universe for all species.
And once again, Palladium epically fails
in the multiverse. Yeah. So they're pretty bad. So, anyways,
I had to say that.
Okay. Well, you're wrong on a few factual issues, but that's okay.
Perhaps it's because I haven't picked up a Palladium book in years.
Yeah. No, we played Palladium earlier this year. Or late last year, remember?
I almost blotted that out of my mind.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I remember now, Ross. Yeah. Yes, thank you for bringing that back in my head.
Okay.
It's me playing a mink with a strength of over 30.
Yeah, we haven't posted that yet, have I?
No, you haven't.
I think it's in the APA. Well, we're just going on a tangent. But anyways, how do you deal with these issues? That's the question at hand.
I think the main thing is the way I felt I should have handled the vampire thing. Is just which was I said, hey Ross, let's just pause for a second here, and then tell them to their face, look, there's no way Vosh would agree to this plan,
right?
And that if he acts the way she should, it's going to be a battle with the vampires now.
Actually, I disagree with you on that, because the right path doesn't always mean that you have to take a given course of action. I don't believe morality dictates that.
Well, the thing is basically there's no way Vosh would go along with this.
Well, no, I think you could make because I think he could have. There could have ways. For example, he could have decided, I'll go along with it for now, then I will go get Mordecai, the Crusaders, and I'll come back and I'll liberate those fuckers. Deceiving the enemy is okay, especially if you're a military character, because that's an important military tactic. Another thing, he could have tried to buy them, literally just like, I'll pay for them, give me to them, how much do you want for them? I'll just
Which, of course, potentially they're just going to take more later.
Well, or 3, he could have negotiated with them, saying, I'll give you convicted murderers and instead if you promise not to attack innocent people. Trying to reach some compromise. Or 4, he could have tried to come back later by himself and rescue them all by his lonesome. Be a Batman. I think that's the thing is a lot of games. People think that morality dictates what their tactics should be. What they're given like options are. Morality should dictate what your goals are. You're in what the results should be, but how you get them is, I think you have a much more wider latitude. It depends on how you're role playing your character. If Vashik was a belligerent, impulsive, like I shall do the right thing now when I can, then yeah, I could see that. But if he was a pragmatic, deep thinking strategist, I could see him being like, I'm going to be a little more of a crafty.
Yeah, that's also has. But then your player has to be, smart thinking and
right,
and pragmatic too.
But
often I'm not that.
Well, you talk the other players out of character, and they could have given you advice or suggestions. But I think a lot of people, and I've seen this time and time and time again, they think that my morality dictates that my only option is this. They don't try and think that, in real life, people have a lot of different ways of expressing their morality. For example, by your logic, Schindler should have, blown up his arms factory and taken out 2 pistols and started shooting Nazis. Now
that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, that would make a badass movie.
2 Thompson submachine guns, Ross.
Okay. Yes, exactly.
Riding a T-Rex.
Riding a T-Rex. But Schindler, was good, and he worked with the Nazis. He built weapons for the Nazis. And because...
no, he didn't build weapons.
I thought it was armor.
No, it was
shells.
No, it was
tank shells or whatever.
No, it wasn't. Armaments was what he was going to do later.
Mm-hmm.
But in actuality, his armament factory never produced a single weapon.
Okay.
No, it was like a I don't know, I'd say like a polymer factory.
Okay.
Well, it was basically it was vital war material, just not armaments.
Okay. Well, still the point remains. He provided material aid
and he paid them huge bribes.
Right. So Schindler was good,
and also hobnobbed with Nazi elite.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of players wouldn't have well, you can't deal with Nazis. That's evil, And well, yes, but it's he's saving a lot of lives too. So morality is a very complex thing. There's a lot of ambiguity and complexity, and people, I think, players try and reduce it down too much into a binary choice. Team good does this. Team evil does this. It's either using orphans as target practice while standing on top of a mountain of burning corpses, while your demon minions, destroy all that is good and, eat puppies, having a bowl of puppy, puppy souls. That's your...
Ross, that's ridiculous. Puppies don't have souls.
Okay. And ripping the heads off of kittens and penguins, for fun. While Team Good, prances with unicorns and refuses and gives manicures to lepers and shit like that. There's just people think that those.
I'm just trying to picture that in my head right now.
Do you like my descriptions? Are they
as long as you threw in Oscar Schindler riding a T-Rex, then yeah.
Okay.
with two Thompsons.
Okay. That was more you, Tom. That was what.
Well, not even Oscar Schindler. I'm seeing Liam Neeson in my head do that.
Okay, well, that's how he would be portrayed in the movie. Obviously, we just need to get that time machine.
Or working. Liam Neeson going, having Hitler on the phone saying, "If you let the Jews go now, I will not hunt you."
Schindler's List 3: The Bloodening.
That'd be great. It's like, I will not pursue you, but if you continue killing the Jews, I will find you. And I will kill you.
So, yeah, that's sort of the thing, It's like, don't confuse an issue of morality. Sometimes it is like, stark, you only have 1 or 2 choices, but not always. And especially in an open-ended situation like the vampires, there are a lot of different ways to express your morality. And I think you need to keep that in mind whenever you're dealing with a complex issue. Is try and think of your options.
It also depends on your mind set at the time.
Well,
if you're really thinking ahead, I probably would have done more of that.
Right, but talk to the other players out of character. I think you're right. Take a break, go out of character, and think about what are other possible options, or talk to other people and get suggestions. But I think the main thing is obviously since morality issues also tend to be what cause a lot of player versus player conflict.
Well, even some of the really good ones too, like me and Cody.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying
early
that's bad.
on.
It's you have to have your priorities in straight. You know, like one, do you trust your group to handle PvP stuff without, going out of hand? A lot of groups can't. Just be.
We did an episode on PvP.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like we mentioned, some groups can handle it, some groups can't. I'm sure you've been in groups where
Many times.
Yeah, you like
Especially the more headstrong and more headstrong people in the group who hate having people disagree with them.
right, where group harmony is is very fragile and very easily broken.
Yeah, I've been in groups. It's taken this one thing
Yeah.
to set someone like, fuck it, I'm out of here.
Right. And, with the RPPR group, we're very, very not group harmony is very resilient. We're very, very.
Yeah, I can't I can't even really think of any recent moments.
Well,
with the group,
Aaron and Jason in the
Aaron, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, Aaron and Jason in the Dark Sun game, several times.
Well, Aaron wouldn't let it go all the way though.
Well, yeah, that's
No,
true.
he can't stand that.
Oh, he doesn't like opening in conflict.
No.
Okay.
Not if you're listening to this, Aaron, I'm not putting you down. I'm just saying you don't like that kind of thing.
Okay. All right.
Then again, I told you this is also the same person that when he plays Knights of the Old Republic or any Star Wars games, he cannot play a dark side game.
I mean, to be honest, I usually go like good characters in those types of games, mainly because it seems to me that game designers make the good characters a little more powerful. Like, oh, you don't get as much money if you do it the good question, but you get an awesome bonus or super weapon because they're so great.
I think my problem with those is there's very little middle ground in most of those games. You either have to be, Baron von Saint of the Righteousness Patrol,
giving manicures to lepers,
yes,
or
is
with a
like,
unicorn,
yes, or you're
mounted corpses, puppy
or you're
souls,
reaching, you're killing pregnant orphans
for target practice, yeah,
and making salt shakers out of the remains.
There you go. Yep. Yes, I shall cremate you and use your ashes as salt. Ha 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 ha.
And your soul.
Yeah, exactly.
I collect souls.
That's what I do. I'm evil.
Just
So evil.
Here's my evil badge.
I have tied 100 women to I totally grinded evil, man. I tied 500 women to railroads, tracks, and stuff.
I think got a bullet train coming.
Yeah. That's just gross, Tom. Anyways,
it's called the murder train.
So the question is, what are your priorities? What is the most important thing to you in gaming? Is it
group cohesion? Yeah,
group cohesion. In which case, you kind of need to metagame a little more.
Or role playing,
role playing, or like your character. Like if you've been playing a character for a long time, and your character has a chance to do a foolhardy thing that would be very good, but this kind of this is Sparta moment, like I'll stay back to save you all. Like you really want to do that? Like you do really want to lose? A lot of people don't want to lose in an RP. You can't lose. But
granted, in D&D, the death of a character, that's hardly a permanent thing.
Well, still, like you guys at Dark's, like, oh my god, my character got dropped to 0 hit points.
Well, that's also just fun to do that with you, Ross.
Oh, I see.
Trust me, normally if we're bitching about a combat, it's because we're also just bitching at you.
Oh, it doesn't matter if it's easy, hard.
We're poking the horrible monster, Ross. That's what we're doing.
Oh, I see. That's nice.
Don't take it personally.
So, again, what do you want? Like, do you want to take a stand and have a dramatic role-playing moment where you say, no, this is wrong. I shall fight. I shall do the right thing.
But, and if you know your groups are good role players, then go for it.
Right.
But if,
Well, I mean, like, you're be very good role-playing, but, like, you didn't want to take a stand on your own, like in the New World campaign. Like you just said, like you didn't want to go against the entire group, for like I'm sure like the group do you think if you did take a stand by yourself that the group would have killed you or like turned against you? Because I don't think they would have. I mean, I think
it depends on the composition of the group at the time.
Well, I mean, the New World campaign.
I'm thinking of that group. The group.
Well, RJ, he would have, but like the other players wouldn't have.
No, I know. Well, Dan and Bill would have plotted behind my back,
right? But they wouldn't have killed or exiled your character. I mean, you could have taken a stand, and it would have been very dramatic. I'm sure characters did.
But I think it's really at that time I just didn't want to deal with it.
Right. So okay, I mean that's fair. So again, you have to think what's your priority. Are you here to game to have fun and just relax, or do you really want to be like have this dramatic, memorable?
Yeah, actually, I think as I remember with that vampire thing, I was just more anxious to move on.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, sometimes if you have a good story going,
Yeah.
you just I'd really like to move on and see where we're going to go with this.
Yeah. I mean, and because you can't do all things in role playing at the same time. I mean, you can't have the perfect game with super awesome, perfect role playing and absolute great characterization. Everything's absolutely perfect all the time. I mean, you have to make your choices. What's more important to you?
Yeah.
Relaxing, having a good time, and shooting the breeze with your friends, or taking it very seriously and doing this kind of thing. Because, so yeah, it's fine, and that's another thing. It's okay to not totally be in sync with your character's alignment or whatever. It's okay to make moral choices or not amoral choices or two moral choices or whatever choices.
I would say do it
because it's a game.
Yeah, do what you think's going to be fun.
Yeah. Usually, I mean, you don't want to be like, I'm going to be a dick all the time.
Okay, do what you think is fun and what could make the group have the most fun.
Yeah. Group cohesion, harmony is pretty important. I would say though, for a lot of people though, again, I think a lot of the morality issues come from people just having a lack of awareness of what their options could be or what they can do, or because people, if you study history, you see people do a lot of different things when confronted with moral dilemmas, because this happens all the time in real life. So you can stand up, you can try and negotiate, you can work around it, you can retreat from it. I mean, I just, for those of you out there, what do you think? Post in the comment sections or on our forums about what you think RPG morality should be, how important it is to you, and what kind of issues you have. We'd be in the next episode, we'll be happy to answer any questions you might email.
Which, just to let you know, our next episode is the 50th.
I know. So
it's crazy.
We're going to talk about having tea ceremonies. That's all there is.
And vaginal teeth.
No.
Yes, Ross.
No.
Yes.
No.
I've got a book and everything. I'm going to read some of my favorite passages out of Vaginal Teeth, a guide.
No, that's not a thing.
It's a thing, Ross.
No, it's not.
It's a thing.
No, it's horrible. You ruined it.
I'm an evil alignment, Ross.
Yeah. Yes, you are.
That's role playing.
All right, so Tom doesn't have a letter because Tom forgot.
Well, yes, that's because... Oh, what the hell? I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I was working today.
Aw, poor Tom.
And I wrote it at work, but I left the notebook at the office.
Yeah.
I am a horrible, horrible human being.
You are.
But I'm not a monster like Ross.
Aw.
Yeah. I am a human being.
All right. Well, we'll be back with anecdotes and shout-outs and all that crap.
As Ross just sits here with a dead expression on his face.
All right.
Fuck yours!
And we're back.
Normally this would be when we come back from my letter, but since I'm a forgetful bastard, look at me.
You are. Jesus Christ, Tom, look at you.
I know. I'm terrible.
Jesus. Just
I'm not even a human being anymore.
No, you're like protoplasm or something. Climbed out of the ocean.
I am part of the primordial ooze.
Yeah, geez. Not even the good part. Like the really crappy part.
Yeah, which led to all the stuff that went extinct.
No, it led to algae and
Hey, we need algae on this planet.
Toe jam and
that's not even a thing.
Toe fungus. Yeah. You're descended from toe fungus now.
You need us. You need fungus.
No, not that type. Anyway, so shout-outs. So why don't you start us off there, Tom?
Yeah, sure. I you know me and my thing about stand-up comedy. Well, I picked up another winner that I feel I should inform you about. It is Brian Regan, who is a favorite of mine. And his DVD, it's not new, but not ancient, The Epitome of Hyperbole.
Yeah.
It's very much more of his comedy that I really like, especially when he ends with a section about the U.S. spy that was captured and convicted named Brian Regan.
Yeah.
Same spelling, same everything.
Okay.
That's how he ends that particular DVD, and it's a very good ending.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, aren't you special? Anyways, my first shout out is for a video game that has been making the rounds on the interwebs. I don't know if you've heard about it, Tom. It's becoming very popular. It's become sort of a cult little favorite of some people. It's called Minecraft. And
can't say it rings a bell. Why don't you tell me about it, Ross?
It's a computer game. It's still in development, still in alpha. But what it is it randomly generates a world with water and mountains and trees and pigs.
Things a world has.
Yeah. And you are given it's all like in these large blocks. It's kind of like Legos, only they're moving and alive and stuff. And you punch trees to gather wood blocks. Then with wood blocks you make a workbench. From the workbench you make a wooden pick. From the pick, you're going to start, gathering stone blocks from the mountain. And then by that time, night's falling, so you make a little crude shelter, and you fucking hide until day, because the monsters come out at night, and they'll fucking eat your ass. Especially the fucking creepers who run up to you and blow up. Fucking creepers.
They're like going to kill you then, are they? They're not going to eat you.
No, they'll just kill you. They'll blow you up. They'll fuck
bastards.
You up. And then you get out and you start digging.
Eat what you kill, my God.
Yeah. And then you make more stuff, and that's pretty much it right now. Is you make stuff and you try not to die, and
isn't that pretty much life?
Yeah, it's very fun. It was free last weekend, so I got to try it out. It's multiplayer and single player. There are many different modes for it. People there's different modes too. Like there's just a builder mode where you can just build things, and it's just stacking blocks up. And so people have made like a model of Earth. And then they have little things that have logic circuits in them. So people have made mechanical computers and calculators in Minecraft through wooden blocks and stuff.
That's a lot of free time.
It's amazing. That shit is insane. And
whoa.
And it's only like $13 right now. So like it's really not very expensive. So you should get that video game. If you like Dwarf Fortress and... Well, no, it actually has graphics.
So it's something like that Dwarven Dig game that Chris bought.
That's a board game, Tom.
Yes, I know, but it's nothing like that then.
No, because I think it's a board game.
We tried to figure it out for 45 minutes and just gave up.
It's a board game, Tom.
I'm making it... Fuck you and die. God, Ross. I tried to make a joke, and well, Tim, I'm going to use logic on your joke.
I know. You had another one.
Yes, thank you for telling me that. Yes, actually... many of you might know that I really love America the Book, the audio book, which came out... Well, actually, just the book, which came out in 2004.
And who's it created by?
Jon Stewart.
No. It's The Daily Show.
The Daily Show with Jon Stewart presents.
With Jon Stewart, yes. There's like 80 writers on it.
They're putting out a new book now.
Yeah.
Simply called Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Like The Daily Show. Earth.
Yeah.
And I haven't read it yet. I don't even know. I think it's out now.
It is. I've actually seen it.
I haven't picked it up, but I have
picked it up.
I don't need to.
I haven't bought it. I've picked the book up physically
and touched it. You've held it.
I've held it.
Wonderful.
It is. It's pretty.
And I will say I haven't even looked at it, but I know I'll love it.
Okay.
I love The Daily Show, so
I'm sure we'll listen to the audiobook too.
Yeah. Next Gen Con.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Okay. All right.
That's my number 2. Why don't you go again, Ross?
I will. A Dirty World, which is the RPG put out by Greg Souls. A film noir inspired RPG. You can listen to an actual play of it on the site right now, on the RPPR AP site. But for those of you not wanting to listen to the 3-hour game, it's a film noir game where characters have qualities and identities. And what's interesting is your qualities can change during gameplay. In fact, they change frequently. Mm-hmm. You can slide them like they're opposing diametrical, like your purity and your corruption are opposed stats. And there's a lot of elegant game mechanics that I'm not going to explain because it would take too long to explain them all. But in essence, people who attack your corruption, try and seduce you, for example, can slide your purity away and add to your corruption, or vice versa. If they're trying to appeal to your better side, and or they can reduce it altogether. And you can slide your own traits around. For example, if you're going to have to beat somebody up, you could raise your courage and lower your wrath. Your wrath is for beating up inferior opponents. Courage is for beating up superior or equal opponents. So you slide these character traits around during the gameplay, and you can gain them. And it's everything's about film noir issues, corruption, cynicism, taking a stand in a dirty world, and lots of morality stuff. The buyout, the scenario I ran, was full of morality and dark cynicism
And shotguns.
and shotguns. Yes. So yeah, that is what I will recommend next.
And my next one actually is related to that. In the game we played, which is posted up, I played a lawyer, a very sleazy, racist lawyer, and I got a lot of my inspiration because just a few days before we ran this game, I had watched a movie, Citizen Cone, which was an HBO original movie about Roy Cohn, who was McCarthy's chief counsel. It's just really good movie. I really love that era in history. So I was already, of course it's James Woods playing the character, so I like James Woods.
Yeah.
So it's not that hard to find. I'd much rather, if I may make another impromptu shout out here. Fine. But a documentary called Point of Order.
Okay.
Which is all about just the Army McCarthy hearings.
Point of Order.
It's extremely hard to find. I found 2 copies on Amazon for about $200 each.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a film. It's not really a documentary, more of a film, just using all kinds of footage from the Army McCarthy hearings.
Oh, okay.
Put together. So
how did you watch it?
I actually managed to find a copy from a friend of mine at my office.
Oh, nice.
Of course, he said, "Yeah, you can watch this. I want it back the next day."
Okay.
So it's.
If you can find it, buy it.
If you can find it, yeah. I've looked for it on Netflix. I can't find it or anything like that. But if you can get a hold of it, check it out. I mean, it's just all footage from the Army McCarthy hearings.
Cool.
Which, as they said in America the Book, the audio book, as we listened to, it's just like during these, Americans got the first-hand look at the inner workings of the U.S. government. This made people very, very sad.
All right. Next up, I have a film noir, a French film called Rafifi.
You mentioned this to me.
Yeah, directed made in 1955, and actually, surprisingly enough, to connect to what you were saying, it was directed by Jules Besson, who also directed The Naked City, and at that point in time, he had been blacklisted. He was a blacklisted writer and director.
I actually think not him himself, but in Citizen Cone, I think there's an actor playing him in the movie.
He was blacklisted in, I think, 1952 or 1953, and spent the next couple years trying to make movies in Europe, but the U.S. government would actually fuck with him to get his movies not made, like to cancel his movies or whatever, and he finally got made one in France, and it's based on this trashy crime novel also called Rafifi, but he basically turned it into this elegant heist movie with incredible acting, dialogue, shots, cinematography. It's just a great movie, and there's a Criterion DVD of it out, and I highly recommend it, especially if you're going to run a dirty world, because it really gets you into the film noir mood.
Yeah.
So it's French. It's great. It's got like this really long heist scene in where they're robbing a jewel store, and there's no music, there's very little sound, there's no dialogue. It's just them doing it. And surprisingly enough, the movie Rafifi was actually banned in several countries after its release because, thieves in Mexico and several other countries actually used what they saw in the movie to rob stores. So they actually did. It's actually based on a real robbery. Like Wikipedia for it, it's great. There was actually a real robbery in 1906 or something, like early 20th century, where they copy from for this movie. So yeah, Rafifi.
Yeah. No one's gonna watch Ocean's 11 and try to copy that one.
No, because that shit is dumb.
I like it though, but
Rafifi was realistic.
Yes, thank you, Ross.
And it's a better movie.
Shut up.
It is.
Shut up.
Anyways, let's see here. You still had one. Well, kind of. You wanted to mention Ian.
Yeah. I know I did. Anyway, yeah. That was about to shout out just an act of thanks to Ian Moody and Violet Kirk, two artists we met at Gen Con. Artful Shrapnel, actually, on the forums. They were actually doing a whole lot of artwork for me. And I told them I was totally going to mention them again, and I completely am. If you need character portraits or anything like that, they're really awesome. and really good at getting it to you pretty quick.
Yeah.
So we're totally going to link up to both of their respective DeviantArt sites. I recommend them fully, and you will respect them.
Yeah. No. They've also done a lot of what you failed to mention that they've done a lot.
I didn't. I figured you jumped right in and say your piece.
For the RPPR New World PDFs. In fact, Ian did the layout for the Codex War, which is why it looks so great compared to the first two, which are just crap because I laid them out.
You suck.
I'm a horrible monster. Anyways, they did a lot of art, cover art, interior art, just great stuff.
Postcards for a road
they
trip.
did several postcards for a road trip. So they're just swell. So
They're fantastic.
and finally, though, I do have one last shout out. ES Posthumous. They do cinematic music, and they don't do it for specific movies. They just do the genre of cinematic or scored music.
Like this is stuff you could imagine in a movie.
Yeah, and Tom's listened to some of it, like their album Makara. They have another one out. I can't remember it off the top of my head. But anyways, I'll link to their stuff on Amazon. So if you want good music for a game, a cinematic game, and you're not recording it, so you don't have to worry about copyright, you should listen to ES Posthumous.
Yeah, and let's when we were driving, I found myself actually the car accelerating on its own as I'm unconsciously responding to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, if it's affecting you subconsciously like that,
it's good.
That's good shit.
It is. So finally, we have anecdotes.
Why don't we?
Yeah, well, we do. But yeah, anecdotes. How you doing, Tom?
I think you're tired, Ross.
No, I'm just great. I'm super. It just feels weird having my wisdom teeth out.
Oh yes, Ross had his wisdom teeth out.
Yeah,
and he still has them.
Yeah, they're like disgusting and evil.
Yeah,
people contribute a lot to the rest if they can get one of my teeth. No, that would just be weird.
You'd totally go along with that if you.
It depends on how much they offered, like
If we're talking like $1,000 per tooth.
Yeah, Yes, I would. That would pay That would pay for the surgery in the first place. Like, hey, you want some more? Yeah, I got 28 left in here.
Yeah, you probably actually make
How much are full dentures? Like, what's my cost benefit ratio here? Yeah,
you could get metal teeth.
Exactly. I can get RPPR and letters, diamonds.
Or just have titanium teeth.
Well, I don't want that. I want some bling. I want some chrome. I want it chromed up, Tom, so I can be a cyberpunk.
Yes, you would. And some cocaine. You need some cocaine to make that cyberpunk.
Yeah, real cocaine, not that cyber cocaine, not the
synth coke.
Not the neo cocaine, yeah. From Neo Jamaica. So anyways, Dark Sun. We've been playing this Dark Sun campaign is featuring rotating GMs, and Cody's taking the reins for the second adventure. So I get to play, which is great. So
Ross doesn't get to do that very much.
I'm playing a foppish, aristocratic, psionic, an ardent from the 4th ed class, the defender leader type, and I am, going around. We're all being sort of bastards in the city, kind of.
Except Aaron.
Well, I mean, we're all doing our own thing, so it's kind of fun to listen to see what people are doing, are saying in there. I remember the first action is I took bets to see if Aaron would defeat Jason in a battle or something.
I took you up on it.
Yeah, you won, bastard.
I know. Obey the bug.
Yeah. So it's been a fun game. So any particular highlights for you, Tom?
I gotta say, I think just in you'll eventually see just when we have essentially the day to ourselves.
Oh, yeah. And
we all go our separate ways.
This is true.
And each of us gets up into mischief.
Yeah.
For instance, something I'm proud of, go to the slave. It was not Tyr, but another city-state we went to. Uruk, that was it.
The military city-state.
And I purchased a slave, and turned him loose outside the city gates and hunted him down.
And then it was stolen from you because there's a giant fucking monster waiting to eat you both.
Mm-hmm.
And you barely ran away with your life.
Well, yes, I follow the code. You don't have to be the fastest, just faster than the other guy.
Right. But
and
lesson number 2, the real lesson here, Tom. Don't go out into the wilderness by yourself. It's dark here. You may be eaten by a... What is it?
Silkworm, Ross.
No, well, yeah, it was silkworm. A grue. You might be eaten by a grue.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Did you ever play Zork?
No. The path is gray.
God, You need to respect. Anyways, my favorite moment was the dinner party because Cody had another dinner party.
Oh yeah.
So we were all together mingling, being bastard.
Oh god damn it! Yeah, I had one of those. I had a really ironic moment with my dude.
Yeah.
Well, you go first.
Well, actually, I think the parties it was actually a heist. We were trying to steal a metal sword from the mantle place, and there's also this disease that's broken out in the city, and everybody's scared about getting sick. So after some of the other players steal the sword, a couple of nobles see that, and they're like, "Oh my god, thief!" And I'm like, "What? Hey, what's going on? What's going on?" "I think I saw a thief." "Yeah, but I just saw people getting sick. You need to get out of here. You're sick." "But there's a thief there." I heard
disease.
I heard hallucinating is one of the symptoms of the disease. Are you sure you're okay? And they're like, "Oh god!" And they run away because I just made them convinced that they're going to die.
And
I'm one of the nice guys in the game.
And me, a people-eating bug, ended up saving like 6 lives from the disease.
Yeah, because you're a druid and you have an awesome.
And basically, and this one, and I was just trying to get away, and I suddenly 2 people started getting sick. I'm like, oh god, and like one of the captains of the guard came up like wait, says these people are like sick. Can you help them? Like, you're a druid, aren't you? Oh god damn it! And I couldn't leave until I succeeded crazy well on all my heal checks. So the cannibalistic bug monster ended up saving 6 people from death by this disease, and was hailed as a savior to people. And I walked away actually ashamed of myself. I was trying to rationalize in my head, like, well, something must be up if the wilds allow these to survive. Then of course there's all idiot.
Nice.
I was doing a little Napoleon Dynamite there, like frickin' idiot.
Wow, so there's a morality lesson for you.
Yeah, like get the fuck out, or you might end up saving people's lives.
I know.
God damn it.
Yeah, terrible.
I'm not a good evil person either.
Nope. Actually, you could have justified it by saying, well, I've gained their favor, so I can exploit that later on.
Yeah, well, this was on the way home. I've since rationalized it.
Yeah.
But just the walk back to the hotel we were staying in.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Cody can role-play a giant bird.
Yes, there's a chocobo in the game, and Cody's very good at role-playing that.
Cody's just crazy good at role-playing shit.
Yep. It's a fun game, I have to say.
We will post it soon.
Yes.
Much like the Blizzard soon. Whenever people ask, when's this Blizzard product going to come out? And they always say, soon.
Yeah.
Which really means, fuck all y'all.
Yeah. Because we're Blizzard. We make more money than God. Because
we are God.
All right.
Because we have the World of Warcraft, the thing that you need.
Yeah. Yeah. How good are they? What's their alignment? Chaotic greedy, am I right?
Yes, Ross.
Okay. And with that, we'll leave.
We shall depart.
Episode 49, Morality Roleplay.
We'll see you back here at 50.
I believe in a person to try different God.